My beloved friends, my dear brothers and sisters, let us sit for a moment in the stillness of the soul, where the quiet of our hearts speaks louder than the noise of the world. Today we will examine a question that many of us carry with us like a weight in the pocket of our spirit. What happens if you don't tithe? Oh, I know that question. I know it well. I know it as a question that rises like a storm in the heart of the faithful, uncertain of what the consequences may be, uncertain of what God desires of us in the way of our giving. But what happens when we do not tithe? When we think of tithing, we often reduce it to something small, something practical, something transactional. But my dear friends, tithing is not just about numbers. It is not about giving 10% of your income as if it were an exchange for favor or a bargain with the divine. Tithing is a declaration of faith, a public acknowledgement of the unseen, a testament to the trust you place in the hands of the Creator. When you give not just out of your wallet, but out of the depths of your soul. You give because you know that your life is not your own. You give because you understand deep down that all things come from the one who has no beginning and no end. To tithe is to admit that you believe in something greater than yourself. It is a declaration that you are a part of a larger story, that your journey is not just about your own survival, but about the well-being of all who walk this earth. To tithe is to stand up in the midst of the world's noise and say, I trust in the Creator. I trust in the provision of God. In a world that often feels as though it has little enough to spare, tithing is a courageous act of faith. It is a radical belief that in giving you are not losing but gaining. When you give, you are telling the world that you have enough, and that enough is all you will ever need, for the Creator will always provide. I know that for some, this act is fraught with doubt. How can I give when I have so little? How can I part with what I have when it feels as though I am barely making it myself? But let me tell you, beloved, the act of tithing is not about the size of your gift, but the size of your heart. It is not about the amount you place in the offering basket, but the spirit with which you give. The Creator, who knows the number of hairs on your head, sees your heart. And when you give out of that heart, you align yourself with the divine flow of the universe. You are tapping into the eternal wellspring of grace that never runs dry, no matter how much you pour out. But tithing is also a reminder of something deeper, a truth that often escapes us in the busyness of life. The truth is this: we are not the owners of our blessings. We are the stewards. Every breath you take, every meal you eat, every dollar you spend, none of these things are truly yours. They are gifts entrusted to you by the Creator. And with that trust comes a responsibility. Tithing is the tangible act of acknowledging that responsibility. It is a way of saying, I know that what I have is not mine to keep, and I am willing to share it, to give it, to offer it back to the world that needs it. When you tithe, you are embracing the sacred truth that we are all connected. The notion of individualism, of thinking that your wealth, your success, your life is yours alone, is a falsehood. You are but one thread in a vast, intricate tapestry. When one thread is torn or broken, the whole fabric suffers. So when you give, you are not just giving to the church or to charity. You are giving to the world. You are investing in the well-being of others. You are helping to weave the fabric of humanity, thread by thread, in a way that honors the divine purpose of connection, of love, and of shared abundance. Tithing is also a matter of discipline. It teaches us to look beyond the immediate, the temporary, and the fleeting. It invites us to think in eternal terms, to recognize that the value of $1 is not just in the material goods it can buy, but in the way it can be used to nourish the soul and the spirit. When you give, you are participating in something that transcends the here and now. You are planting seeds for future generations, and those seeds will bear fruit that you may never see. That is the power of tithing. It is not just about what you give today, but about the legacy you create for tomorrow. And so, my friends, tithing is not just an act of charity. It is a profound spiritual practice, a ritual that connects you to the divine, to others, and to the very essence of life itself. It is an act of faith that says, I trust that God will provide. And because I trust, I will give. It is a recognition that when you give, you are not diminishing your own blessings, but expanding them, opening yourself to the flow of grace that surrounds you. In giving, you are freed from the tyranny of scarcity and fear, and you are invited into the abundance of the divine. This is why tithing is not a burden, but a blessing. It is not a requirement, but a gift. It is a way of affirming that you are not alone in this journey, that the Creator walks with you every step of the way, and that you are called to walk with others in the same spirit of generosity and love. And when you do, you will find that your faith is deepened, your heart is enlarged, and your life is richer than you could ever have imagined. To tithe is to say yes to the divine rhythm of life, to recognize that you are part of something much larger than yourself. It is to dance with the Creator, to trust in the beat, and to move forward with grace. And in that movement, you will find the peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that comes not from holding tightly to what you have, but from releasing it into the hands of the one who gives it all. When you withhold your tithe, you do not merely withhold a portion of your income. You withhold a portion of your spirit. You take a step back from the divine dance, from the rhythm of grace that seeks to flow through your life. This withholding is not just about the coins or the bills you place into the offering basket. No, my friends, it is a deeper loss than that. It is a loss of connection, a loss of the divine flow that sustains not only you, but all those around you. You may not see it in the moment, but when you choose to hold back, you close the door to blessings that were meant for you. The truth is that when we withhold, we starve ourselves. I know it may sound counterintuitive, for we are often taught that in this world of scarcity, we must hold tight to what we have, hoarding it like a precious jewel. But the Creator's kingdom does not work in this way. The Creator's economy is one of abundance, one that tells us that when we give, we are not diminishing ourselves, but enlarging our hearts. To withhold the tithe, to clutch tightly to what we believe is ours, is to starve the soul, to stifle the very essence of who we are meant to be. It is to refuse the spiritual nourishment that comes from generosity, from the act of offering, from the understanding that we are part of something far greater than our individual selves. The soul, my friends, needs to give in order to grow. When you keep your resources to yourself, when you hoard them, believing that they are all you have and all you will ever need, you close the doors to abundance. You create a spirit of fear, one that tells you there is not enough. That fear becomes a cage locking you in, keeping you from experiencing the freedom that comes with giving. And when your spirit is in bondage, the rest of your life will follow suit. Relationships, opportunities, your own sense of joy and peace, all of these things are affected by your willingness to give, to share, to open yourself to the flow of divine grace. There is an ancient truth that says, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And while the world may tell you that it is the receiving that brings joy, I assure you, it is the giving that unlocks the door to true peace. In giving, you allow God to work through you. You become a conduit, a vessel through which divine blessings flow. But when you withhold, you interrupt that flow. You become a stagnant pond rather than a flowing river. And in the stillness, you begin to grow still yourself. What happens when you starve your spirit? You become disconnected from the divine source, from the wellspring of life itself. And that disconnection can manifest in many ways. It can lead to anxiety, to a sense of restlessness that no material possession can soothe. You may find yourself constantly reaching for things, seeking more, but never quite feeling satisfied. You may see your heart grow hardened, your faith grow faint, as the love of giving is replaced by the fear of losing. But the truth is that when you give, you are not losing anything. You are gaining. You are gaining the peace that surpasses understanding, the joy that comes from knowing that you are part of something greater than yourself. You are gaining the trust that opens the doors of the universe, allowing all things to come into your life in abundance. You are gaining the sense of connection that transcends the limitations of this world, knowing that in your giving you are helping to heal the brokenness of others. And let me tell you, my beloved, it is not just the world that benefits from your giving. You benefit as well. When you release what you have, you open yourself up to receive more grace, more peace, more love, more joy. You see, when you give, you allow space in your life for the divine to fill. And the more you give, the more God fills you up. It is a simple but profound truth. The more you pour out, the more God pours in. This is the rhythm of life, the rhythm of faith. And when you join in that rhythm, you align yourself with the divine flow of creation. But to withhold is to block that flow. It is to shut the door to the very blessings you seek. And when that door is closed, the spirit grows dry and the soul withers. You may not see it immediately, but it will come. It may manifest in your relationships, your finances, or your health. It may show up as a sense of emptiness, a yearning that nothing seems to satisfy. You will search for peace in places where peace cannot be found, all because you have starved your soul of the nourishment that comes from giving. So, my dear friends, do not starve your spirit. Do not close your heart to the blessings that God has waiting for you. When you give, you open yourself to a life filled with grace and abundance. You invite the flow of divine love into every corner of your being. And when that love flows through you, it touches everything you do, everyone you meet, and everything you experience. Your life becomes a testimony to the truth that when you give, you are not giving to lose, but to gain. Do not let fear guide your hand, for when you give freely, you set your spirit free, and in that freedom you will find the richness that you have always sought. You will find that the Creator has more for you than you could ever imagine, waiting to pour into your life, the abundance that only comes through the open hands of faith. We are taught to protect our resources, to ensure that we have enough to survive, to cling to what we own with both hands. And yet the act of giving is a quiet rebellion against that fear, a quiet act of defiance that says, I do not believe in scarcity. I believe in the infinite resources of the Creator. I believe that what I give will come back to me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you tithe, you are not just giving to the church or to the poor, beloved. You are giving to the Creator. You are acknowledging that all you have, your strength, your wisdom, your wealth, your very life, is a gift from God. And in that giving, you align yourself with the divine will, for the Creator has already given you everything you need. Tithing is simply the acknowledgement of that truth. It is the recognition that all things flow from the divine, and that you are merely a steward of the blessings that have been entrusted to you. It is easy to think that our money, our possessions, our time, are ours to keep. We work hard for what we have, and we believe that we have earned it. But the truth, beloved, is that none of us has earned anything on our own. Every breath we take, every moment we have is a gift. The wealth we accumulate, the homes we build, the meals we eat, they are all gifts of grace. Tithing is not about giving what we have earned, but about recognizing that we were given it all in the first place. It is about saying, I trust that the same God who has provided for me will continue to provide, and I trust that what I give will be used to bless others and to further the divine purpose in the world. But trust is a muscle, my friends. It must be exercised. It grows stronger with each act of giving, with each step of faith you take. When you give, you are not just participating in the act of charity. You are participating in the divine rhythm of life. You are stepping into the flow of grace that moves through the world, a flow that is endless, boundless, and ever-present. And when you give, you become a part of that flow. You become a conduit for the blessings of the Creator, and in doing so you open yourself to receive even more. The divine exchange is not one of loss, it is one of gain. You give and you receive. You release and you are filled. You pour out and your cup is replenished. This is the paradox of fate, beloved. The more you give, the more you are given. The more you release, the more you receive. And it is not just material blessings that come to you when you give. It is a deeper, richer abundance, a peace that surpasses all understanding, a joy that fills the heart, a sense of purpose that lights the soul. When you trust in the Creator's provision, you are no longer bound by the fears of this world. You are no longer held captive by the worries of what you do not have, because you know that what you give will be returned to you in ways you cannot even fathom. When you trust in the abundance of the divine, you are free to let go of the burdens that weigh you down. You are free to release the tight grip of self-sufficiency and surrender to the divine flow of life. It is a surrender, yes, but it is not a surrender to loss. It is a surrender to gain. For when you trust that the Creator will provide, you will find that there is always more than enough love, more than enough grace, more than enough joy. And in that abundance, you will find the strength to give even more, to love even more, to live even more fully. And so, beloved, tithing is not just an act of giving, it is an act of trust. It is a recognition that we are part of a divine economy, one that does not operate on the principles of scarcity and lack, but on the principles of abundance and grace. When you tithe, you are not just giving to a cause, you are giving to the Creator, to the divine rhythm that moves through all things. You are aligning yourself with the eternal flow of grace, and in that alignment you will find that you are never without, never lacking, never in need. Trust, my dear ones, is the foundation of faith. And when you trust in the divine provision, you open yourself to the miracles of abundance that await you. Tithing is not a duty. It is a privilege, a joy, a celebration of the trust you have in the Creator's endless bounty. So give and trust and know that in your giving you are not losing but gaining. You are stepping into the flow of divine grace, and in that flow you will find that there is more than enough for you, for those you love, and for the world. The heart, my dear friends, is the seat of our deepest connection to the divine. It is the wellspring from which our love flows, the place where our faith takes root and grows. When you tithe, you are not merely giving a portion of your wealth, you are offering a piece of your heart. You are saying, I believe, not just in the divine, but in the sacred connection that binds us all together. You are acknowledging that there is something greater than the material world. Something that transcends the surface, something that calls us into relationship with one another and with the Creator. Tithing, then, is not just a financial act. It is a spiritual practice that draws us closer to God and to each other. When you give, you open your heart wide. You release the fear that so often holds us back, the fear of not having enough, the fear of losing, the fear of being left behind. You step out into the world with the confidence that as you give, you are part of a divine exchange that is beyond your comprehension. You give, and in return you open the floodgates of your heart, allowing love and compassion to pour through you in ways you could never have imagined. The more you give, the more your heart expands. It stretches beyond the boundaries of your own needs, beyond the limits of your own desires, and connects with the hearts of others. This is the true power of tithing. It is not just about the material gift you offer, but about the love and energy that flows from the heart, the sacred force that ties you to every other being in this world. To withhold your tithe is to close your heart, to allow the walls of fear and insecurity to rise up between you and the world. When you hold back, you are saying, I do not trust, I do not believe, I do not want to risk. You allow the smallness of your mind to dictate the largeness of your heart. You retreat into the familiar, into the safe and secure, and you forget the great truth that the heart was made for love, not for fear. But when you give, you allow your heart to break free from those chains. You allow the divine to move through you, to stretch you, to change you. And in that stretching, your heart grows ever larger, ever more expansive, until it can embrace not just your family, not just your friends, but the entire world. This is the divine paradox. When you give, you are not losing anything, you are gaining. You are gaining the capacity to love more deeply, to trust more fully, and to experience more joy than you ever thought possible. It is in the act of giving that your heart is transformed, that your spirit is lifted, and that your life is enriched. You find that as you release, you are not left empty. You are filled with the grace of the Creator, with a sense of peace that transcends all understanding. Your heart, once closed and guarded, becomes a wellspring of love, overflowing with compassion, with empathy, with the desire to give more. There is a great misconception in this world that we must protect our hearts, that we must guard them from the hurt and pain that giving may bring. But, my beloved, there is no greater joy than to give. And in giving, there is no greater fulfillment than to know that you are a part of something much larger than yourself. You are not simply giving to an institution or to a cause. You are giving to the divine. And in doing so, you are nourishing your own soul. For when you give from a place of love and trust, your heart is not depleted, it is replenished. It is filled with the presence of the Creator, with the assurance that you are not alone, that you are part of a greater whole. And yet there is more to this connection, for tithing also draws us closer to one another. When you give, you are participating in a collective act of love and service. You are saying, I see you, I recognize your humanity, I acknowledge that you too are part of the divine fabric of life. It is easy in this world to become isolated, to believe that our lives are our own and that we must fend for ourselves. But tithing reminds us that we are not isolated, we are all connected. And what happens to one affects the whole. When you give, you break down the walls of separation. You bridge the gap between yourself and others, and you affirm the truth that we are all in this together. It is no accident, my friends, that the heart is often depicted as the center of love and compassion. It is no accident that in almost every religious and spiritual tradition, the heart is the place where the divine resides. For the heart is the center of our being. It is the place where our true selves are revealed, the place where we can connect with the Creator and with one another in a way that transcends all the superficial divisions of this world. And when you tithe, you are offering your heart, your love, your very essence to the world. You are choosing to let your love flow freely, to open yourself to the divine flow of grace, to trust that as you give, you will receive not just material blessings, but spiritual ones as well. So, beloved, remember that when you give, you are not just offering a portion of your wealth. You are offering a portion of your heart. You are stepping into the divine flow of love and grace, allowing your heart to expand beyond its limits and embrace the world. And in doing so, you will find that your heart is not only filled but overflowing, not only enriched but transformed. Your connection to God, to others, and to your own soul will deepen in ways that words cannot capture. For the heart, when it is open, is the gateway to the divine. And when you give from that heart, you become a vessel through which divine love flows, touching everyone you meet and transforming the world in ways both great and small. My dear friends, there's a profound and undeniable truth that reverberates through every moment of our lives. Giving is not just an outward action, but an inward transformation. When you withhold the tithe, you withhold the very essence of your own spiritual growth. It is a choice to close off a part of yourself from the divine rhythm, a decision to turn away from the very source of life itself. The tithe in all its sacred simplicity is not just about money, but about a deeper relationship with the Creator, with the world, and with yourself. When you withhold, you impede that relationship. You pull back from the flow of divine blessings that are meant to move through you and to others. And in doing so, you limit your own potential. You block the very energy that would have nurtured your soul and strengthened your spirit. You see, the act of tithing is not just a financial transaction. It is an invitation to enter into a deeper understanding of the nature of abundance. Abundance, beloved, is not about what we accumulate. It is not about how much we have or how many possessions we can gather in our lifetime. No, abundance is about the generosity of the Spirit. It is about living with the full knowledge that all that we have, all that we are, is a gift from the Creator. And that, dear one, is the essence of true abundance, recognizing that everything comes from the divine, and that our task is not to hoard, but to give. When you choose not to tithe, you choose to limit that flow of abundance. You build walls around your heart, around your spirit, and you withhold the very gifts that could open doors in your life, the gifts of trust, of faith, of peace. You block the flow of divine generosity. And the more you withhold, the more you close yourself off from the very power that sustains the universe. It is a quiet act of self-sabotage, a choice to live in a place of fear rather than one of freedom. But, beloved, I tell you this, the divine flow does not care whether you choose to withhold or to give. It will flow regardless. But when you give, when you release your fear and place your trust in the Creator's boundless grace, you open yourself up to receive all that is meant for you. And that is when the true magic of abundance happens. Abundance is not measured by how much we have in the bank or how many possessions we own. It is measured by how much love we share, how much joy we spread, how much peace we carry within us. True abundance is found in the richness of the relationships we cultivate, in the sense of purpose we feel as we serve others, and in the knowledge that our lives are part of a much greater story. When you withhold your tithe, you are not just withholding money. You are withholding your place in the great symphony of life. You are stepping out of harmony with the divine rhythm. And in doing so, you miss the chance to experience the fullness of the life you were meant to live. And yet, there is a simple truth that underlies all of this. When you give, you release. You release the grip of fear, the grip of scarcity, the grip of pride. You release the notion that you are the sole owner of your life, and you embrace the knowledge that everything you have is a gift. Giving is an act of surrender. It is saying, I trust. I trust that what I give will be returned to me in ways I cannot see, but that are no less real for being unseen. I trust that the Creator in all his wisdom will use what I give to further his kingdom on this earth, to heal broken hearts, to feed hungry souls, to lift the downtrodden, and to open the eyes of the blind. To withhold, my dear ones, is to live in fear, fear that there will not be enough, fear that we are not enough. And fear is the very opposite of love. Fear binds us, limits us, shrinks our vision, and keeps us in a constant state of anxiety and want. But when you give, you choose love, you choose trust, you choose freedom. You choose to align yourself with the divine flow that is ever present, always moving, and always available to those who are willing to step into it. What happens when you release? When you allow yourself to let go of the fear and the doubt that have kept you trapped in a cycle of scarcity? You open yourself to receive. And what you receive is far greater than anything you could have imagined.